Let's learn something really quick.
If you got the time, absolutely. And you got the discipline, there's no question about it.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great practice to put into your everyday life, you guys.
You generally regret the things you don't do, not the things you did do. Let me say it that way.
Mic drop. This was just awesome. I love meeting my guests in person, and it's a whole nother animal, and the energy is just electric. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bringing incredible guests from all over the world, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest founded New Air in 2001, growing it from garage startup to $600 million in sales. He led the company to $80 million in annual revenue and partnerships with major retailers. In 2021, after 20 years of success, he sold New Air in a mid-8-figure deal. Please welcome Luke Peters. Luke, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to share the story.
I'm excited for you to share the story too. Like, that is like the American dream, right? Start a business out of your garage, you grow it to being super successful, but I mean, it's never linear, right? And that's what people don't understand.
Yeah, no, never. I pinch myself still today, but yeah, very, very fortunate.
So can you tell us a little bit about what New Air was when you started it, and like maybe a little bit of that journey growing it to be such a success and what you learned along the way?
Sure. Yeah. So the quick story is, well, it's not so quick, but I grew up in a big family. Okay, 12 total. So it was like we're always fighting for everything, and so we had an entrepreneurial spirit when we were young, and went to school. Graduated and and ended up working as a hazardous waste scientist. Okay. So I was working for the government, and it was a great job because you're, cleaning the groundwater and stuff. But then but I'm driving a truck to LA, and my little brother is driving a sports car, never went to school, never did anything. Okay. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, I studied hard. I got this job, and I'm barely making ends meet. I had right at that point, my wife and I had 2 kids, I believe. Okay. And then it was 2001, yeah, 2. And then he is having this business. So I'm like, wait, I got to find out what he's doing.
Yeah, something's not right here. It's off balance.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Nobody told me about this other idea, this other option. Right. So anyways, yeah, I just burned the midnight oil and I kept working, but started the business. And we were selling appliances. Back then, we were selling some like HVAC products, okay? Portable air conditioners, thermostats, stuff like that. Didn't know anything about them. I just knew that people were searching for them. See, and I didn't even know what a purchase order was, okay? I called up Grainger to buy stuff from them, and they're like, send me a purchase order.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's a purchase order? So that's how you learn. You just do it and figure it out.
So you found a niche in the marketplace. You solved a problem for people, for what they were looking for, and you obviously learned along the way and continued to grow it. So as you discovered what people were looking for and providing that and learning what a purchase order is, what did that growth look like for you over 5-10 years?
I was able to quit in 3 to 6 months maybe. And it was rapid. Okay. We had no funding. So this was all cash flow. I mean, we moved into 7 warehouses or more along with the 20 years. So right at the beginning, we were in a garage. Then all of a sudden we're in 2,000 square feet. Then we're in 5,000 and 10. We just kept moving. And really what it was is obviously, understanding, serving customers, but finding those cool product niches that they were looking for. So back then, they could find all the electronics they wanted, right? That was already online. Okay. If you wanted RAM or computers or whatever, but if you wanted something fun, like a wine cooler or like an evaporative cooler or portable air conditioner, like these sort of niche appliances that are not dominated by the big brands. Okay. They're outside of the scope of say a GE or an LG, right? So you're not dealing with them. And so that's the category we went after. And plus, to boot, they were fun categories. Okay. Wine, beer, different refrigerators and different cooling products. So it was a good fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but how cool was it that you stumbled upon that 20 years ago, whatever, however long it's been? And I mean, what was that aha moment? Like, okay, we need to provide this to the marketplace.
Well, okay. So starting out, what happened was I didn't know what to sell. And the bottom back then, at the bottom of Yahoo search, it listed the top most search terms. And I just looked at the bottom and down there, like, I don't know how it was number 3, but it was ranked number 3 was portable air conditioners.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Wow.
a lot of people were looking for them, but like I said, people weren't selling them. They weren't offering them because on the commercial products and plus they're big. Okay. This is kind of a hard business because things break
Yeah.
and there's returns and you have to really understand, the supply chain and warehousing and packaging. And so that also was good. It kind of taught me like, if you get into a hard, challenging category, it's actually could be a good thing. It's sort of a moat, right? It's
Sure.
like it's sort of defensible when you're inside of it.
Very cool. Now, do you think that in today's world, right, where we have so much more, we're moving at a much faster pace now than we were 20 years ago? Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, would you think that if it's still possible for someone to find a niche in the marketplace and to open a business like you did and scale it in 20 years today as you did 20 years ago?
It totally is.
Okay.
And actually, there's a lot more things available. And by the way, I'm actually, and you and I didn't even talk about this, but I'm doing another business where I am launching a product. So that's another one that I'm working on, and it's totally available because the thing about now is you can get a lot more leverage, a lot easier. Okay, back then it was just Google. Now Google was super easy to win the search on, right? But now there's TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube and all the social media and podcasting. Oh, there's so many things now that are harder, but there's more of them. And the other thing is, as an entrepreneur, you can get more leverage with sort of the contractor economy. Like there's experts everywhere. So you're able to get leverage. Whereas back then, I was writing my own HTML. I was having to figure things out. Yeah. And now it's like there's experts everywhere. So you can utilize that and get leverage. So you could totally do it because I think you can be more lean right now, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. With everything around you.
I would agree with that. My late husband and I had several businesses, and our one business was a manufacturing. What we remanufacture transmissions, so automotive. And that's a little bit different when you're building something and remanning something so technical. But like during that process from 5 million to 10 million, from 10 million to 15 million, I mean, before he passed away, we were at like 25 million plus a year. So there were a lot of growing pains as we were scaling and continuing to grow, and we hit that next benchmark. So for you, what was that like? Do you have any like maybe advice that you could give to someone that might be listening to this that is scaling right now within their business?
Sure. Yeah. And so I think the biggest mistake that founders make is mostly around talent. Okay. So early on, I think, you can scale and you can get leverage without having to bring in people. Like you can find out if your idea will work. You don't have to go mortgage your house. But then once you're scaling, I think a lot of times the revenue is there and a lot of founders are afraid to kind of bring in that higher level talent.
Yeah.
Okay. You're always chasing talent. It's kind of like, you're 5 million. Okay. And then you go to 10, but then you hire enough people to be 5, you're kind of like, you're always chasing it. And that's a big problem because what you realize as you scale, totally different business. Once you have, employees and over 10 or 20 employees, is the people are everything. Like that is your business. Okay. It's your products and your people. So it's like a sports team. I always bring in that analogy. I mean, you want to build the Lakers, not the Clippers. I mean, you want to focus on the talent. And I think that is not done early enough for most people.
Yeah, and you know what we had a problem with, which I mean, maybe you experienced this, but as you increase in revenue, sometimes your leadership doesn't have the skill set to grow with the revenue of the company. And we struggled with that. And I agree with you. You're always chasing people. We had 150 plus, and then, our executive team. And a lot of we were growing so rapidly that occasionally, like our executive team, we had to like switch out because they just didn't have the skill set to reach that next level with us. They just, I mean, we tried to give them the tools that they needed, but if they've never experienced that kind of growth before and that next level and the amount of output that we needed, if they're not willing to rise to the challenge, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And I think you hit on the key word, which is experience. So I think nowadays, like, I think when you're, a new entrepreneur, you're looking for hustle, which is
Yeah.
fine, but experience is so much more valuable. And it's like your eyes open up when you hire someone who's already done what you need them to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Or like, especially like usually people do that in sales. Okay. They need some key accounts. They bring in somebody, but you could do that throughout your whole company. I mean, people like that can transform every department.
Yeah, for sure. I would totally agree. So, do you want to share with us this new business venture so that we can like get, or is it just in the beginning stages?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. I got a couple, but one of them, that physical product is just in the design.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So I'm still working on it. I have to kind of work through the IPs. I'll talk about what product it is later, but it's a small product that's like, everybody can have it in their home, and I'll hopefully launch next year, but I want to get through the design, and I'm doing this from the ground up with engineers, and it's a lot of fun. So that one I'm working on, and that's slow going because, you do testing, and then you're kind of going back and forth to design the product.
Yeah.
It's like a fan type product, okay, but it has a couple of special functions. And then I got to go, bring the tooling and sourcing, and then bring it to market. What I'm currently doing at Apex CEOs, I'm doing CEO coaching. So,
Okay.
I was fortunate. I worked through my business. Had a wonderful exit. Took a couple years and didn't know what to do, but I was always helping friends in their companies. And I'm like, you know what? I really enjoy this, and I love just helping people, making their business and lives better. And so this gives me the opportunity here at Apex CEO.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you more purpose too, and just like
So
apply the experience that you've had to someone else's business. What's that been like stepping into a CEO role? It's a temporal, right? You go in as a contract CEO.
no. So coaching. So
Oh,
coaching.
coaching,
CEOs.
coaching. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So getting involved with, like founder CEOs, because I've been there. So my company, started with nothing, right? And so
Yeah.
bootstrapped it, and then we got all the way up to about 80 million. Okay. And that's when we exited. And so I can really feel like I can relate to people
Yeah.
who are running companies all the way along the journey. I'm not, I've been with the smaller size and the medium size and the bigger size, and, went from a supply chain that was our garage and the Granger to like a worldwide supply chain. So I think that gives me a good ability to sort of just really relate and empathize and work with the founders.
Absolutely. So what's that been like coaching founders? Do you have like a success story that since you started doing that you could share with us? What kind of company it was too?
Yeah, well, that one I gotta be careful in sharing that on the kind of the privacy side.
Okay, sure.
But yeah, one was mainly around product development, right? It's the founders, because a lot of times founders are too closed up on their products, because what happens is exactly, okay, usually the founder is the creative force, usually, right? So that's where they're strongest, and then they're running into business, right? And that creative force gets kind of stomped on sometimes, and that's the fun of business, is the creative side, I think. And so a lot of times that product development slows down, or the product innovation slows down. So this one was just a lot of innovation on the product side, which could transform the company, because usually most of the, all the business owners listening, like, you don't realize how much leverage you actually have. Okay. And so in that case, this is transforming the company, because they have already their accounting and their marketing and all of these things that are so difficult to put into place and to get to scale where they are. And a lot of times people they'll do like a line extension. Okay, this is where, you're selling a wine cooler, and now you're selling a beer cooler. Okay, that's great. And you could get maybe incremental value. But what if you, found a way, and like a lot of times, people have skill sets that they have, but the blinders are on. So they're just working on their product, and they're like, whoa, wait a minute, I could do this totally different product. I guess on a service business, it would be, if you're doing coaching, and then you launch, what do you call it? Like a product that's like a course.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like that. But on the physical product side, you can do the same thing, where you can innovate with a product. Too many times it's just line extension. So I'm talking about that really big thinking innovation, because that's where you're going to get leverage on your business. And most of us, we have that ability, but we're not doing it. We're thinking sort of too small just on the line extension side.
So when you start working with a CEO, does a company have to be at a certain size, like a certain revenue for you to work with them?
Yeah, usually a couple million. I deal like Yeah, like 3 to 5 million probably is good, but I can help out. The thing is, so I offer like a free strategy call. Even on that call, I can help out individuals, because maybe they just need 20 minutes of advice. And if they want to work down the road, we can work down the road. If not, no problem. But a lot of times it's hard, okay? Because like think of like your friend group and stuff. It's a lot of times people are not surrounded by other business leaders.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even when they are going out, it's hard for them to have those conversations or what should I do here? And so I think it's good to have like and a coach is sort of an overused term. I kind of think of myself more like a strategic advisor. Okay. I want to
Sure.
get in the weeds and really turbocharge the business, get the, there's usually way more leverage underneath the hood. Okay. Than people realize that they have.
Yeah. I think it takes someone like you. I think it's very important as a leader to have a consultant, an advisor, a coach, whatever you want to call it, because like you said, you are so like surrounded by the same environment all the time. And unless you're not talking to other creative forces, leaders that have experienced different things, how are you to know, or how are you to figure out a solution to problem you might have? That's why the YPO, WPO is like a great organization to surround yourself with other leaders in the world that have experienced that kind of success, because great minds think alike and you can just elevate. So someone like you could probably really bring in a lot of fresh ideas and help them solve some problems that they probably didn't even know they had.
And I've been in a lot of masterminds, and the masterminds are good. They're very good. But remember, you have like 10, 12 people in a room. And so you're usually not getting a lot of hands-on time. You're getting like your topic might get a little bit of time. And YPO, those are, I mean, they're like must-do organizations, but an advisor is a little different because they're they're really in your corner. They're not just kind of a passerby. Going through the deal process was really like a 5-year journey. It was kind of like, yeah, because what it is it's like, first of all, it's a realization that that's the direction I want to go. Okay. And that was a specific advisor, helped me understand that we are always getting approached. But then you find out what a private equity or a strategic wants. They want a certain amount of EBITDA. They want, they really want certain gross margins and profit margins and a number of other things, certain financials that you have to have in place. So like this takes a couple years to put in place. And then I had advisors help me get through that. Then I stumbled on a sales advisor who became like a good friend of mine now, actually. And he was like a worldwide, traveled the world, sold for big global companies. And he came into my company and helped me put in sales processes. Okay. And all of this is just happening because I'm meeting with people.
Yeah.
And then, during the sale, I connected with a sell side M&A advisor. So this is a person who only represents the sell side. So, because when you sell, you're going to get a banker, okay, and you're going to get an attorney, and all. They're there for you,
Yeah.
but they are also getting a commission off that, and so they really want the deal to go through. But the sell side advisor is sort of more authentic in the middle, and so that was really valuable because during the process there were some ups and downs and times I had questions about, the process itself.
Sure.
Well, should I, hey, is this the right way? Is this a good deal? And that's somebody I could truly trust their advice. So yeah, all the way through, throughout your life, like coaches and advisors are so important.
With that being said, Luke, where can people find you, connect with you, and learn more of working with you if they're looking for an advisor, if they are in this founder CEO role?
Sure. So you can go over to apexceo.co, and over there, you can just go to the calendar and sign up for a quick meeting or just watch a couple of videos and just see what we do. Also, you can find me on LinkedIn at Luke Peters and on YouTube at Strategy by Luke.
Excellent. You guys, we'll put those links in the show notes. So if you connected with Luke, want to learn more, just see what kind of information he can offer you if you are in a founder CEO role, go click those links, go give him a follow and check him out. Schedule a call even. Luke, this is the part of the show where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Okay, words of advice. If you're running a business, and most people don't put this in the top of their list, but you should prepare your business for a sale if you can. Okay. Unless it's a lifestyle business. Doesn't mean you have to sell your business, but that should be on your strategic plan to prepare your business, because you're going to really pull yourself out of the business, because that's part of preparing your business for sale is you not being the business. And it's sort of a 2 or 3 year journey that you're going to go on. And at the end of it, you can decide to sell or not sell, but you'll do it on your terms and your business will be stronger. So I think it's a great objective, especially here. We're coming, soon we'll be in Q4 year-end planning. So it's something to think about.
Absolutely. And I think that during that process, you might find like some weak spots where you're able to improve by setting it up for success if you decided to do that. So
Exactly.
awesome. Love it. Luke, thank you so much for sharing your story or your wisdom and what you've been through. Truly living the American dream and a great example for people, and to let them know that it's still possible to find a niche in the marketplace and become a success like Luke.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoyed being here.
You're welcome. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.